Well, welcome to Saturday evening. Happy Memorial Day weekend. We got some sunshine finally. You'll need 2 blocks and a strap or a pillowcase, towel, whatever, this evening. And we're going to work on some back bends and some quad stretches. So let's just kind of start to settle in as we begin class. We want to warm up before we start getting into some of these tight places. So go on and bring yourself to your mat. And I want you to find a wide leg child's pose. Knees open, great toes kind of touch. Take a second to settle back here. If that's a lot for your knees, just find a little bit of like up and down, just with the hips just kind of lifting in and then setting back. You'll get a nice little quad workout with that as well. And as you settle down here, just start to walk the arms out. Just kind of creep and curl yourself out. And I want you to bring the forehead onto the mat or as close to the mat as possible. And allow yourself to kind of settle in here, feeling the booty kind of dropping back towards the heels. Seeing if you can, little by little, just draw the toes in even a little bit closer and the knees a little wider. You want to hug in the belly and you want to stretch the arms out even a little bit more. So you find that nice hollow space underneath the armpit area. And you're going to feel the shoulders and the tops of the arm bones just begin to settle in. So from this space, I want you to just kind of relax for a moment. Spread into the fingers, squeeze into the hands, and spread again, just kind of working into these places. Feel the breath draw through the nose as the back rises. It's going to find a nice subtle lift here. And then an exhale. Take it one more time. And find the exhale. Go ahead and let yourself walk in just a little bit. So you come to your forearms here. If it's starting to get a little bit much on the knees, you can just draw the hips up again and then settle back. Let the hips get heavy and kind of bring all your weight up into your forearms as the hands plant. Then I want you, once you settle back in again, I want you to feel the forearms connect to the ground. I want the hands to spread, the fingers to ground in. So you're really using your fingertip pads and push the forearms into the ground. So you have a little bit of an angle here in the from the elbow to the top of the shoulder. Okay, so as you push the forearms into the mat, I want you to feel the chest lift. And you're going to feel almost like an arching kind of happening through the sternum, through the chest bone here. And then settle back down on that exhale. So then you find a little bit of a caving kind of feeling, like a river kind of running in between the shoulder blades in the back. So kind of go with that a few times, warming up through the front side body. And then go on and start to round into the belly. Bring the knees a little bit closer and just let the hips rock side to side. The hands can shoot off into the opposite direction. Kind of feel like you're stretching long. I'm looking over here and I've lost my coffee cup for 3 days and I just found it. I just looked up and found it. That's pretty exciting. I thought I had left it at work. So anyway, squirrel, go back into this flat back, curl the toes under and just walk the feet out, stretch out to the bottom. I wondered where I put that. And I want you to push your hands into the mat again, really grounding into those fingertip pads. And let's curl the toes under here, but let's start to lift into the knees for a moment. Hold in, zip into the core, really use the arms. Let the elbow eyes kind of turn out, almost as if you're coming into that chaturanga arm. Start to bend down, maybe even drop the knees all the way down or hover in, and then push back. And then do that a couple times. You should feel that pretty quick. Exhale as you push up. And then the last one, draw the heels back towards the ground and just give yourself a little kick out. You need to see, Cats kind of kick themselves out. Just let the legs feel long. Draw the heels back and just find a little bit of motion. Then center back into your down facing dog. You can adjust the hands, wiggle the wrists. Let the heels drop all the way as close as they can to the earth here. And the hips are going to rise. Keep a soft bend in the knees always, you know that. Head is heavy, head is long. Go on, wave through. Come into your half air plank. Let the arms kind of directly right underneath the shoulders. Bend those elbows straight back. Bring it down. Uncurl the toes. We'll come into our first cobra pose here. So bring the arms out wider a little bit today. So now you have a 90-degree here stacked up from the shoulder to the elbow to the hand down, round into the toes, and really lift up through the chest. Bridge of the nose, you're kind of looking down there at the top of the mat. And then as you exhale, bring it down. Tops of the toes are still connected to the mat, and then push up. So we'll take this push up this way. Take it a few times, really working into the arms. Got to start wearing short sleeves again, right? We got to start building into our strength in our arms. Go on and push yourself back. Come back into this puppy dog pose for just a moment. Kind of wiggle those arms out, shake out through the chest. Hands plant. Heels drop, down dog. Go on, wave back up into the top of the push-up and then push back. I want you to bring the feet up to the hands, however you'd like to do that. I'm going to take a little hop up to the top of the mat, and I'm going to come into a halfway lift here. And then I'm going to exhale, and I'm going to forward fold. I'm going to grab for the backs of my feet, my toes, wherever, just not pulling on my knees, letting my spine get really long. I'm going to root down, I'm going to rise up. Feet ground, hands reach up above, draw down. Like you're pulling one of those bars at the gym down, you're kind of pulling down, you're using that isometric pull, and then bring up, keep a soft knee. And then we can even kind of sit down and then push up. Sit down, push up. Sit down one more time, flex out through. So we're going to keep the knees slightly back, always that soft knee, zip into the belly. And I want you to make a 90-degree shape between the legs and the spine. Reach your arms out. I was just playing with this, and I think this feels kind of good. So go on and see how straight you can get the legs without hyperextending the knees, and stretch out long. And then root down through the feet and bring it up. And then bring it back down. Set yourself back up into that L shape again. And then come back up. And then come back down. Bring it up one time. Hands can bring down, ground down around. Come back into this plank pose. Let's let the knees hover one more time. Elbows kind of bend. And then come back. We'll play with this a little bit more. Really building into that space. Push it back, down dog. Walk it out here. All right, let's start right leg lifts. So you might take a little hop in on that left foot, let the right leg reach all the way tall, push out through the bottom of the heel, and let that left heel round towards the earth. Stretch out as long as you can. Bring the knee towards the chest. Bring it back up. Go on, change sides. So right foot grounds, left leg reaches up, right heel reaches down towards the ground. Long body here. Knee towards chest. Round back up. One more, knee towards chest. Come back into your down dog. Let's find that wave in the spine. Chaturanga, those arms down. Bring the chest down. Find that your shoulders roll back a little bit and find that space with the hands. If you have blocks to each side of you, try using them now. So take them to outside of your mat here. So your arms are nice and wide. And I want you to bring in that 90 degree one more time with the hands. Plant into the feet. So now you're going to feel like you have, what, an extra maybe 3 inches or so with this block underneath your hand. As the feet ground in, really lift in through the chest. You should feel that into that armpit fat place. That is most annoying, isn't it? Go on and let the chest come down and push back up. So we're kind of, excuse me, finding that target area here. Bring it down. Don't forget to really connect into the legs. And take this 3 or 4 times. Really work into that space. You will thank me tomorrow. Go on and let the arms come around, interlace those fingers behind your back, and start to find a little bit of your back bend here. See how much you can draw the fingers down past the booty, taps of the feet are still connected, and lift in through the shoulders. Do not crane through the neck. Keep your gaze going down the bridge of the nose once again. Even see if you can kind of tilt the forehead forward a little bit so you even find more room in the back side of the neck. Go on and release the hands and find some movement and some wiggles in the shoulders here. Take some circles. Take it the other way. I want you to push those hands into the mat. Bring the hips back. Come into puppy. Curl the toes, lift back up. Come into down dog. Walk it out. Kick those feet up if you like that. I don't know what I'm going to call that. Donkey kick, maybe? Kitty kick? Kitty litter kick? I don't know. Push it back. And then come back into this plank pose. Let's hover the knees. Bend the elbows. Come on back. Hover the knees. Bend the elbows. Bring it back. Weigh it down. Bring the chest back down to the mat. We're going to start working again, getting a little bit deeper into our back bends. So, bring the blocks maybe a smidge in. I got my block like halfway on the mat and halfway off the mat. So I'm going to bring that 90-degree space back in to my elbows, to my arms. And I'm going to push up here. And this time I'm going to start to draw my elbows up and my heels towards my booty. And I'm really going to pull into the center. I'm going to feel my back start to kind of bend into this shape here a little bit. And then bring it down. And you can even take, you know what might feel nice too? You can take the block off of the mat and then take the corner of the block to just to the corner of the mat here. So it's kind of on a diagonal. And then try that again. That's a little bit better. I kind of like that. Bring that back up, bring up, see if you can reach the back of the head towards the heels. I want you to bring it down. I want you to wiggle in through the arms here. Hands are underneath the shoulders. Push yourself back. Bring it into this child's pose for a moment. Let those arms relax for a minute. Straight out, kind of creepy crawl the fingers, just letting everything get really long. Let's go on and bring ourselves back so we're sitting onto our heels. Okay, leave the tops of the feet down. We don't have to curl the toes unless you're really into that tonight. You can go on and do that. Bring the arms up and over, and let's go on and start by bending the right hand and bring it in between that space right above the top of the shoulders. So the elbows like peeking straight up. And just give it a little stretch here. Okay? Really feel as if you're not popping out through the ribs, so you're kind of hugging back here. You're zipping up through the belly. Your tops of your feet are grounded in, and you're going to give a little stretch to the back side of the arm. So you almost have like a good, another 90 degree over here on that left side arm. And you almost feel as if you're leaning back into that hand as it supports you. So let's go on and just kind of wave it down, and we'll take it over and stretch. Take it over and stretch to the other side. And let's go on and do that with the left hand. So find the palm of the hands nice and flat. Let it rest into that space right above, like right above the shoulder blades and right at the bottom base of the neck. Like the heel of the hand should rest there. And just let your back of your head kind of rest into that forearm area, and then go on and take a reach for the opposite elbow. I feel pretty tight into this space. I don't know about you guys, but I'm leaning back in, so I'm really finding a nice stretch all the way down through the whole arm, in through the armpit, and into the back of the bicep area here. So nice tricep bicep stretch. Give it a breath or two, and then go on. And let's take our arms long. Let's go on and roll everything in. So we're finding that internal rotation of the shoulders and then some external rotations. And as we take that external rotation, you're going to automatically find that back bend starts to happen. And you're going to lean back ever so slightly and then go on forward. And you're going to feel the spine move forward and back. And that's exactly what we want to have happen here. And then round forward. So we're getting a 2-for-1 here. So we're doing arms and we're working into the spine. Core as well. Bring it up. Take a little crescent, so let your hips drop over to the left as the hands draw to the right. And then go on and switch sides. Giving a little pull out through the arms. All right. Shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Go on, come into all fours one more time. Curl the toes. Let's hover those knees again. All right, coming right back in. We don't want to let that burn go away. We want to keep it. So we're holding, squeezing the knees in as if we had one of those blocks. If you can grab them, go for it. Okay? Let the knees hover. See if you can even touch down and then come back up a little bit. Just to play with it. Really feel the inner thighs firing up here. Take it 3 or 4 times. And then let the heels draw back. Adjust the toes, and it's kind of the shallow down dog. It's kind of this thin down dog. The feet are not super wide here. Let the hips rise up. You should really feel the thighs engage, and the back of those hamstrings, as the heels draw closer to the earth, the hamstrings are starting to get really long here. I've even feeling it all the way down into the backside of my calf as my heels draw towards the earth. I'm going to go on and I'm going to bend into those knees. And I'm going to see if I can take a little hop without dropping the block. If you don't have a block, it doesn't matter. I'm just kind of playing around here. So whoop, bring it up. And then go on. If you do have that block in your knees, get your feet parallel so they're like on skis and let yourself fall forward. Find a little wiggle, wiggle out into the arms. Squeeze into that block. Bring yourself up nice and tall. And let's sit back. Come into your chair pose. Arms are going to open up. Again, you're going to find that roundness in the back. So the hips are kind of tilted back a little bit. Shoulders are drawing back. So you should have a nice roundness to the back of the spine here. Knees are squeezing in. And then you can find those how wonderful arms. So drawing down again. Zipping up through the belly. Head is drawing back. You don't want to pop out through the ribs, so make sure that you're drawing back. And then stretch up. Sit back down. Stretch up and sit back down. Really let everything kind of feel used, feel tight, feel fired up, feel engaged. Go on, arms are going to come up. Take right hand, left wrist, squeeze into the block and find a crescent. Come back into center, change sides, opposite side. Go on, bring those arms down. Bring that block out of the way here. Come back into your down dog. Let's walk it out. All right, wake back through that spine. Don't take too much time, right? We don't want to lose our heart rate. So come back in to that plank pose. I want you to bend those elbows straight back. I want you to find this space to where you can lift into the chest. The shoulders are going to start to roll back. You might find your strap here. And I want you to go on, and I'd like you to take your strap for your top and wrap it around the right foot. The right hand, right foot. Find that space. Go on and let the left arm get long. You're going to engage the top of the left foot, and you're going to start to draw the heel towards the bum. And you're finding a nice engagement into the bicep here as well. So you're getting long through the back side of the head. The long leg is strong. My knee isn't even touching the earth here. And then I'm going to let it come down. Unloop my foot. I'm going to switch sides here. I'm going to try to lasso my other foot. I can't find it. It's always easier said than done, isn't it? There we go. All right, so I've got myself lassoed, and then I'm going to draw the right arm long. I'm going to start to bring the heel into the booty on the left side, finding that quad stretch. Just let this happen for a second. And then we're going to unloop, leave the strap close. I want you to come back into center. Your hands should be right underneath these shoulders. You could even open them up again if that felt good in more of that sealed space. And engage the tops of the feet and draw back up. Feel long through the chest, settle in through the shoulders. You won't even feel the back of your shoulder blades beginning to kind of kiss back there. I invite you to let the space happen. I invite you to feel your body getting stronger as you push into the ground, as you lift up the front side body. You grow from the back side, top side of the head. Engage the legs. Feel the strength in our legs. Bring the chin towards the chest, really settling into this back bend, and allow yourself to come down. I want you to bend the knees and keep a wiper on your legs here, so we keep that low back nice and soft. We don't ever want to feel as if we're getting too crunchy into that space. It can be very sensitive. Flex and point your feet. All right. Let the feet come down. Bring the hands in a little closer. Curl those toes. Bring it back down. Dog. Walk it out. I want you to shuffle through both feet like it's a little dance step. And then change sides. Really make the brain work. That's yoga, right? Mind, body, breath. It's all, the word yoga means union. To yoke, to join. Bring it back. Stretch back. Hips up, head long. Knees bend, top of the mat. Come back into those straight legs. Ground in, your feet are on skis here. Soft knee, but see how much you can straighten into the legs. And then bring yourself up into that L shape again. So the fingertips are reaching, the booty's reaching back, the fingertips are reaching long. Look straight down, so that way you're not creaking in to the back side of the neck here. Keep this for a second. Hold the knees in, and then reach down and start to rise up. Become tall. Then bend back again. Bring it up. And one more. All right, let the hands plant. Go on and bring your blocks back in. You might not need to if your arms are a little bit longer. Mine are not, so. And I'm gonna separate them, I don't know, middle of each side of the mat here. So as my feet are on those skis one more time, I'm gonna bend into that right knee, and I'm gonna kind of like bring it across. I think we played with this last week. As we kind of draw in, and then bring it down to the other side. Draw in, really engage the glute. See how far you can settle down. It reminds me of a speed skater. Maybe it wasn't last week, it was the week before. I didn't teach last week. It was the week before. Go on and just kind of take this a few times. Really working into the booty, holding the belly in. And then as we settle in here on the last left foot here, we're going to reach and see how much we can grab into that right foot. Use the block and feel yourself get strong. See how much of a bind you can get. If you can't, it doesn't matter. And then go on and let it go. And then take it to the other side. So right foot is standing, left knee is bent. Take the right hand to the left foot, push in to both spaces. Top of the foot to the palm of the hand, really engaged. My arm, my standing arm here is really, it's almost even shaking because I'm pushing into the block so much. And go on and release. Bring the feet back into the ski type shape here, parallel. Roll to the toes, lift into the heels. And then spill back into the heels and bring the toes up so you stretch out through the calf. As you do this, go on and let yourself really fold over. Test your balance here. Everything tests my balance. Bring it back up into the toes. And then settle back. All right. Go on, click the feet open. Start to settle down into the hips. You got these blocks here if you want them. Just bring them around to the back. If not, see if you can start to widen into the feet just a little bit as you settle in to the hips. So I want you to feel the hands on the inside of the legs here. So actually, let's bring these blocks over just a little bit. And then you can start to push into here, and your elbows can kind of connect into the inside of this knee spot. And as you do this, see if you can start to draw the head up, and you're finding another arch in the back. So you're pulling up through the head. You're stretching out through these inner thighs. You're making engagement through the inner part of the leg to the arm to the top of the head. Go on and let that go. Push into the hands. Bring yourself up. Let the toes come forward so the legs are parallel again. And then opposite hand to opposite ankle. So I'm taking left hand, right ankle. Find some length in the spine again. We just took a nice back bend. Change sides. And letting my shoulders kind of work out here too. All right, bring it back. Okay. If you want to take those chaturangas with the blocks, that's always super fun. So you can bring the feet together, hop it back into your plank. Ooh, my hips are feeling it now. Go on, bring those elbows straight back. Chest comes down. Drop the knees. Maybe uncurl the toes here so you're in a supported plank and push yourself up. Bring it down. Push it up. Push-ups always remind me of military, so since it's Memorial Weekend, I feel like that's appropriate. Thank you to all of our armed services that protect us and keep us safe. Go on and push up one more time. Now let the hips draw back, arms come long, stretch out, settle back into the breath. Okay, keep the strap handy here, so you might want to bring that up. Roll through the spine, let the belly meet the mat. And I want you to come onto your forearms here. So automatically that puts you into a back bend, right? Automatically you feel yourself arching into that low lumbar spine. As the forearms connect to the block here, go on and start to draw the heels in and see if you can make a connection with your strap on your feet. Bring the strap up over to one shoulder and then find, so gracefully, right? One strap to each hand. Make sure that your legs are parallel here as you start to draw the heels in, flex into the feet. You might even start to feel your thighs raise up, and you are really taking a nice back bend here. Make sure your gaze is looking down and push the tops of those feet into the mat. See how much you can raise into the lower part of the pelvis as you reach the legs even higher. Squeeze into the butt and then let down. Let the legs go long. Don't let go of the strap because it becomes interesting to try to re-strap. So go on and find that the legs can come a little longer. Use the arms to kind of floss it back and through. All right. And we'll come into that space one more time. If you need to let your back really settle in, just let these blocks come right underneath the biceps, underneath, they kind of like plant into the armpit. Just let yourself wiper. You can still do that with the strap and floss it back and forth. It's a little awkward, but it's okay. Draw the heels back in, let the arms come long. And then you're really grounding into the front area here. All right, we're gonna come into it again. So start to bring yourself up to these blocks. All right. Start to get your straps above each shoulder. Start to take your gaze forward. Okay, now resist the strap with the tops of the feet. Heels are drawing in, and you are starting to lift in. and then down. It's kind of a weird frog, isn't it? And then lift in, squeeze into the butt, squeeze up. Our arms and our booties are going to be sore tomorrow. That's okay though, that means we did something. So go on and bring it in and then stretch it back up. Take it a couple times. If it feels okay, take it. See how high you can lift into the knees without really squishing into that low back. All right, go on, lose the strength, push yourself back. Let yourself get long in that spine. Counter pose here. You can bring the blocks back as the forearms, kind of use those for a little bit of height here. Hold the belly in, settle in through the shoulders, settle in through the belly. I like a little bit of like bobbing a little bit. It feels like it kind of shakes out the energy. All right. Go on, roll into the spine. Stay on your forearms here, on the blocks or not on the blocks, doesn't really matter. I'm going to take some cat and cows. So push those hands into the mat. Let the knees be parallel right underneath the hips, and then start to scoop in and really stretch through the spine. So you're drawing the chin towards the chest, the forehead's meeting towards the mat, and you are just coming into that I am a mad cat back. Feel long, feel stretch between the shoulder blades. And then I want you to start to let the belly sink and find that opposite approach. So your booty kind of pops back, shoulders roll back, and you feel your neck get a little bit longer. You can curl the toes if it feels good to stretch out into the bottom of the feet. All right, go on one more time, roll in, hug the belly in. Yeah, it's always a mission for me to do that. And then go on and let it come out one more time. I want us to draw our hips to the right and our hands over to the left, stretch out long. And then we'll take it to the other side. Oh. Okay. Bring it back into center. Hands come up underneath. Let's come into a down dog. Let's walk it out. Leave your strap handy. You might need it. We're gonna come into bow. Okay. So go on. Let the heels draw back. Bring the knees towards the hands. Come into your flat back. Let your arms extend. Let the hips roll back so you're pushing long into the legs. Ground down into the feet. Nice L shape, zip into the belly. Push down to the feet. Raise up long. Go on, grab to the left wrist, take it to the right. Long side body. Let's switch sides. Come back in. Let's settle back into this chair pose, drawing the arms down again. So we're coming back to this shape. And then we're going to push in, we'll lift up, and we'll come back down into this shape. Let the arms come long, come back into this L, and then go on others, let yourself fall all the way over. Woo, opposite hands, opposite elbow, let that spine get super long. Let the head be a wonderful counterweight as it holds into the spine. All right, are we ready? Are you ready? All right, halfway lift. Bring it back into your plank. Let it come down. Bend into the elbows. Bring yourself down. Okay, strap or no strap. Uncurl the toes. Don't use the blocks here. Unless you wanted to come back into where we were before, okay? If you like that and you know that that bow is not into your practice, then use them. It brings the earth up. Start to pull the heels towards the booty. See if you can make an engagement here. Let the arms get long. This might be just right where you are, okay? I want you to feel the toes curl over the pinky, all right? So you're looking straight down the ridge of the nose. And I want you, again, to start to lift into the shoulders. As the forehead lifts up, see if you can come into this bow shape. Don't let the knees flay out too much. Really kind of hold them into center as you squeeze into those booty cheeks and you start to lift up. Shoulders are rolling back. Beautiful back bend here. Shoulder blades are kissing one more time. See if you can lift up a little bit more. Take it to where you find your edge. and then let it release. Undo your hands. Bring the legs back into that wiper shape and wiper out. Keep that low back nice and loose. Right. I want you to push back. Child's pose, puppy dog, whatever feels good for you. Let your hips settle. Stretch long. Round and wave. So you are really pulling the belly button in. The spine is just, I mean, finding so much room in between those vertebrae where you can feel each of them separate. Bring yourself into that hands and knees. Parallel up those knees. Come back into that half back. I want you to find some cat and cows here, some organic movement. You know, bow is no joke. You have to honor your body. You have to listen. It's okay to push, but never to the part where it's too much. Find some waving into the shoulders. Let it feel good. Maybe make some figure eights. Maybe kind of, it's Saturday night, make it a little funky. Roll back. Heels ground down. Ooh, feel heavy, heavy, heavy. And I can feel my low back just getting nice and roomy. All right, walk it back up. I want us to find ourselves over to the right so our legs can come out long. And I want us to bring our booties towards our heels. All right. So if you got a block and you want it, stick it between the knees. And let's go on and start to find our core exercises here. So our arms are going to get long. We're leaning back from the top of the head. And we're going to bring it up. And we're going to settle back. We can bring it up and settle back. Bring it up. Let that core work. That also supports the low back. Take it a few times. Let the core really start to shape. Let it start to fire up. If you want to get a little twisty here, you can draw one arm back and bring it up. Feel that Ujjayi breath, that Darth Vader breath. One more. Start to roll it back down. Let yourself come long. Let the knees wiper side to side. All right. Lose the block. Bring the knees towards the chest. And I want you to feel as if the hips can really walk out. So I always kind of scoop down. One side to the other. My knees are drawing in towards my elbows here or in towards my armpits along the rib cage. And I'm flexing in. So it's what is this? This is Malasana all over again, but on our back, right? So we take, well, a lot of times we take the same shape, just in different positions. Let the low back, middle back, upper back, just kind of press into the ground. Feel the back side of the hips get heavy, so you're not having that lumbar curve here. You're finding the opposite of that. You're finding the polarity of that space. Bring the knees in together, and then find some circles. All right? 3 or 4 to one direction, 3, 4 to the other. Okay. Draw the knees in, let both of the legs come up. We're going to bend to the right knee, and we're going to start to bring the outside of the right ankle to the top part of the left thigh. Go on and make this shape, this figure 4 shape, and just grab for whatever part of the knee and opposite leg you can. I'm going right for the top of the shin, right at the bottom of the knee here on the left. And I'm engaging my arm to the opposite leg. I'm flexing into both of my feet. And I'm kind of pushing away and drawing in at the same time. I can really feel this in my right foot, right into that cheek. I'm feeling my hips draw down, like that pelvic bowl. It's drawing down, and the more I draw it down towards the earth and I straighten into the low part of my back, I can feel it more in my hip. My shoulders are light. My neck is not even touching the ground. The back of my head is definitely supporting that part of my neck. So go on and bring it up, all right? And since your foot is flexed over here, let's just drop for a second and kind of take this awkward supine twist here with the legs just kind of V-shape over. I like to put a little pressure on the outside of the hip. Makes it feel long from the low back into the hip, into the back of the leg. Bring it back into center and we'll switch sides. If you want to do a little rock just to keep everything loose, go for that. Legs both come up. Give the ankles a little love. Go on, we'll take that over to the other side. So the outside of that left ankle will meet the top of the right leg, right above. I guess it'd be right above the knee here. So flex it. If you like to stay here and the legs up the wall, you know, you can do this 2 or half legs up the wall, or bend into that leg and find that shape where you can kind of hug in. And again, start to walk those hips down. The more you can walk them down one side to the other, the more space you're going to create into the backside body. And then you draw the legs in, all right? Feel as if you can push this part of the low back and the top of the butt into the mat, so you feel this all getting really long and really stretching out. I know a lot of times people feel they get sciatic pain. You feel it in this area here. I know that's always kind of a sensitive area for people. I know personally it is for me as well. Definitely feel more open on this side than the other. Take note if like what's happening on one side of the body than the other. Totally normal not to feel the same on both sides. We're not the same on both sides. And then go on, release the hands and allow the foot to come over to the opposite side. So left foot, my left foot is coming to my right side. And I'm just finding a little bit of a twist here. I'm letting my right hand come to the outside and just drawing it down ever so slightly. Maybe I don't even use the hand. Depends on how flexible you are in the back side. Draw the belly in and just find that twist. Okay. Take a breath or two here. All right, guys, bring it back in. Ooh, let everything center out. Let everything neutralize. I want you to lift into the hips a little bit and find that shape again. So you push your feet into the mat as your hips kind of lift up maybe an inch off the mat. And you kind of just find that springiness into the feet, and you kind of just shake it out into the front of the pelvis and into the back of the booty and the low back. And you kind of just let that little vibration kind of happen. Squeeze into that midline here. And then go on and start to tuck the tail in. So as you kind of bring it up towards the ceiling, you're going to plant into that low back, and it should feel nice and long, and just let everything roll back out. And then you're going to come back into that lumbar curve again. So it's almost like a wave of the spine. Bring it back into that neutral space. Push into the feet. Lift into the hips. Squeeze the knee together, but the arms come long. Interlace them underneath. Maybe roll the shoulders back even a little bit more. So we get into that front of the arm space again and stretch it long. As the fingers are interlaced, and you start to ground them down into the mat as the hips lift and you squeeze into the inner thigh, into the knee. Go on and unroll. If you want to take bridge one more time, go for it. If you want to find a little shifting of the knees here, take that first. And if wheel is in your practice and you are just feeling the back bends tonight, let's go for it. Bring the legs squared up, okay? So those feet are back on those skis again. They're parallel. Start to take the hands right over the shoulders so the fingers are coming towards the front of the mat, right? So the fingertips are looking towards the heels. Your elbows are straight up. So I want you to find this shape where you're kind of drawing in the heels even a little bit closer to the booty. You're squeezing into the knees here, into the other thigh, and you start to lift up. If you start to push in here, lift up, let the toes be straight and push up. Find your back bend. This is deep, right? Try doing it when you're talking. Let the head hang. Ooh. Start to draw the arms back. Let the back of the head meet the mat. Let the spine come long. Draw those knees in, but keep the back straight, okay? Keep it long. Walk those hips out. I always use that analogy of the paperclip, right? You don't want to bend, 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 because eventually that will start to snap. But you need to counter pose. You need to keep the spine long after you take those deep back. What's our time? All right, we got some time. Want to come back into it one more time? Let's go for it. Let the feet meet. Coming back into breath. Hey, and if you have these blocks too, you can lift up and you can do this. We'll come here. But if you want to stay here and skip the whole wheel, be my guest. Bring your hands, place them properly, okay? And you're going to kind of hold into this space. I know it's awkward on the arms. And then you're going to push into the ground and you're going to lift up again. See if you can walk the heels in a little bit more. See if you can walk your hands in a little bit more. Push into both. Push into both. And then start to maybe bend into the elbows, maybe the top of your head touches. Push back up. Bring it down. That's too much, don't do it. Draw the chin towards the chest so that way you can lay the spine back down and you don't put pressure on the top of your head. Not a good idea. Let the back find its space and then take the wiper of the knees side to side. How's that feel? You're going to feel like 4 inches taller when we finish. Ooh, take it one more time and just let it rest here. Find the breath. I haven't done wheel in a while. That felt good. Take it over to the other side. Bring it back into center. This time, let's let our knees come in and our feet kind of move out. Finding this length through the front sides of the legs. Squeeze the knees together. Back side is just feeling soft. Give it a moment. Let the low back. This is where you'll really notice the practice coming into play. When you find, it's really nice to move and it's really nice to find your challenge, to find your power. And you do all of that. And then you start to bring it back into the still space. And that's when your body's going to start to release in those spots where we get those energy blockages. You know how you've heard me before talk about how the energy circuits in the body are called nadis, and sometimes they'll get tangled up like Christmas lights. This is where in these soft spots where you feel that you just found that place where all of a sudden you got the knots out of the string of Christmas lights. And it's such a relief. Maybe even tee the arms long, palms face down. Kind of again, just shimmying, just kind of shaking into that body again. With the knees parallel. Whatever you might need left into your practice here, please feel free and find it. I worked my way all the way off my mat. I'm coming back. Go on here before we go into Shavasana. Grab one of those blocks. And I'd like you to lift into the hips and tuck the block underneath that sacral area here. So this top of the block or blanket or book, or well, book might be kind of hard. Just be careful with that and make sure that you're comfortable with it. And start to set down. So you'll feel the low lumbar spine, just find safety in the block, and you'll feel the front side of, or I'm sorry, the back side of your hip fold the pelvic bowl, kind of drape over the front of that block. And you find some space there. And again, just feel that stillness kind of just hover over you, kind of hug you. If this feels good, stay here. If you want a little bit more, start to draw the knees in. Let the feet come up. You can stay in your legs up the wall here. This might be a nice place for Shavasana. If you have a wall close, or you can get to your ottoman by your couch and just kind of rest it on the back side of your body, that's wonderful. Let everything kind of circuit and re-nurture, right? Just kind of fill up. Sometimes I kind of even like to just shake a little bit again. Let the shoulders come underneath. Let the arms come long, the palms of the hands kind of push in, so you stretch into the back. Maybe you lift into the back of the head and reset the back side of the skull so the neck stays long. Flex into the feet, push the heels up. Find some softness. You want the legs to come down. And you want to come into the supported bridge pose for your Shavasana. Please feel free to stay here. If it's become a little bit too much for the low back, you've really, really worked into that back tonight. You can lose that block, but do it gently, and feel yourself unroll from the back sides of your shoulders all the way down. So you're going to feel this part of your front side of the hips just start to sink, and each part of the spine is going to meet the mat. And then you're going to unwind. And then you can stay here. Or, you know what to do. Let those legs go long, let the toes flay open, let the palms come up. Let the breath soften. I invite you to soften into the eyelids. Bring them closed. I invite you to stay in this space for as long as your practice or evening allows. But in the meantime, I'm going to start to draw my heels towards my bum. I'm going to let my body fall over to either the right or the left side. I'm going to take this nurturing space. I'm going to take another breath or so here on my side body. I'll let my top leg get long, and I'm going to begin to roll myself up to my comfortable seat, to my Sukhasana. Cross my legs. Letting my spine grow long and strong. Bring your hands to your heart center. Allow the thumbs to connect to the chest, right into the heart. Feel the breath graze across the tops of your fingers, an ever so simple and quick reminder that our minds, bodies, and breaths are all connected so simply. Thank you so much for joining me this evening, or whenever you've chosen to watch our video. We'll be doing a few more home practices, and we're starting to come up with a plan. We're moving back in. We're moving back in to the studio. So keep your eyes and ears open for instructions on how that is going to work. It's going to certainly be a little bit different than it was before we left, but it's coming. May you have a wonderful long weekend. May you have a beautiful Memorial Day. Enjoy your evening as we each trudge our road to our own happy destiny. Until we meet again, my friends. Namaste.